I ran the last 10K of my marathon PB faster than the first 10K, and there is no coincidence that during that block, I was on it with my core strength. That is why the next 12 minutes is gonna make you a better runner. No fancy equipment required, just 12 minutes of fundamental core movements that you can do ideally once or twice a week at home. And core work doesn't just mean abs. That's something I didn't realize until I was a pro runner. The work in this session is the reason I can hold my form in the last few miles of a marathon. And it's also the reason that my back doesn't hate me anymore. And if you stick around until the end of this video, which means completing the workout, I will tell you which race this block is building towards. We're gonna do this together, okay? Let's go. But before we get into the actual workout, we are sensible Sallies over here, so we're gonna do some light warm-up, which just means a little bit of mobility, basically, so we're not shocking the system by jumping straight into it. So we're gonna do some 90-90 hip switches, which feel great if you're as stiff as I am. Just spend 10 to 20 seconds here, loosening off the hinges, and then we're gonna transition into everyone's favorite mobility exercise to do in a gym full of people, which doesn't look weird whatsoever, some cat-cows. Give me your best cat impression. Really arching around the back, and then give me a nice move. Is this the cow, and this is the cat? I don't think either of them look like either of those animals, but here we are. That feels really good. Just activating the spine, loosening everything off. A little bit of a precursor to one of the exercises we're gonna do later, some plank walkouts. So just literally doing what it says on the tin, walking out into that plank and walking yourself back up again. Just do this 3 or 4 times, just getting the shoulders woken up, spreading your weight nice and evenly, and don't really need to do any lunges or any squats because we are mostly using this, hence the core workout, which is where my handy clock comes into things. This is gonna be our timer. We're gonna stick to this. We are only doing 12 minutes worth of work. Not even, really, because 20 seconds of each rep is rest. Don't say I don't treat you. This is gonna give us a 10-second countdown so that we are in position, ready to do the exercise before the timer actually starts. So I'm gonna press play, and we're gonna get into position, ready for some dead bugs to kick us off. So nice flat back, arms stretch out, well, one arm, and we're off. Alternate arm to the leg that you're using. Whilst you're doing this, I want you to think about pressing your lower back into the floor the whole time. If it lifts, you need to slow down or maybe just not go as far because you really don't want to be arching that back. You want to be squashing the bugs that are now dead underneath you. 3, 2, 1, and a nice rest. Just rest however you feel best. And actually, we don't need to move because the next exercise is glute bridges with a march option. So, soak up that rest, take it all in, and then we are up into a glute bridge. Now you can stay here if this is enough, or you can add in the march option. But we are just gonna very slowly bring up one leg into an A position and slowly come back down again. And you wanna squeeze at the top, and especially if you're doing the marches, concentrate on not letting your hips drop down. It's very easy to slowly come down here. We wanna stay up nice and high so that we're getting the benefit of the glute bridge. Nice and slow with those marches, and rest. And so this next exercise, swiveling onto our side. Everybody loves a plank. This is a side plank with a hip dip. Okay, so getting ready, coming up into your plank, hand on your hip is probably the best place, and then we're just gonna dip the hip down. Stack your feet, or you can stagger them if you need to. And you want to just try and make sure you're lifting those hips at the top. Keeping this part really strong. We're not slouching down into our shoulder, staying nice and straight. 3, 2, 1, and relax. This next exercise, we're gonna swivel over onto our front for some bird dogs. I see a lot of people rushing these, and you're kind of doing yourself a disservice when you do that. You wanna take it nice and slow. And actually, your leg being straight whilst you're doing this is lower than you think. When you come up here, you can throw your back off in the whole line of posture. So just try and focus on a straight alignment and keeping your tummy, your trunk, like a tabletop. Imagine you're balancing a glass of water on your back. Nice and slow. The slower the better. And if you can pause at the top, that's when you're really working it. 3, 2, 1, and relax. We go back into a plank for this next one. I'm actually gonna swivel around so I can see the clock. And this is plank with the shoulder tap. So I'm actually gonna come up into a high plank. We're tapping our shoulders. So we need to hold this plank and try and stay as still as possible when you lift one hand off the ground to tap that other shoulder. Again, you want to imagine that we've got a glass of water on our back. You might shake a little bit. My voice is shaking as I'm trying to talk. You just want to really lock in, try and tuck your pelvis, be super stable. 3, 2, 1. Gently drop the knees. Whew. Now, this is maybe my favorite core exercise. And I say favorite because it gets me strong, but I love to hate it because it's a bit like dead bugs, but worse. So get into position and you want to push into the opposite knee with your hand, and we're going to spend 20 seconds on one side, dropping that left arm and dropping that right leg, pressing as hard as we can into the knee with our hand, and then we're going to swap. And it's the pressure of pushing your arm into your knee that makes this so hard but so good. And again, we'll be pressing your back into the ground. There should be no gap underneath you. Oh, this is the worst one, but we're ready to take a break after this. And stop. And whilst we've got a few minutes in between sets, I'm going to talk to you about my outfit today because Lululemon are the sponsor of this video, and this is my go-to gym fit. So what's so great about this outfit for a core workout and for running? Well, in my personal opinion, this is the best sports bra for me because it is light support. This is the Flow Y bra. It's in the A/B cup because I'm a small girly. It's in off-white, which does tempt me to get it quite dirty, but I wear it for runs and I wear it for workouts, and there is no chafe in sight. On the bottom half, we have the mesh textured high-rise running short in 2.5 inch. These are actually brand new, and I was really worried to try them out on a long run because you never want to test something out for the first time over 18 miles because the risk of chafe is pretty high. And these passed the test. They have got a zip pocket, which is a luxury we don't normally have. There's something in there. 2 milk caps. That's weird. It's got a handy drawstring here, so if you want them a little bit tighter, you can use that to your delight. I love this textured mesh material with the kind of mesh cutouts. It's super light, especially for the heat wave we've been having recently. And I might be a little bit biased, but I think I look pretty good in this. There are links for both the sports bra and the shorts in the description below. Huge thank you to Lululemon for sponsoring this video and sponsoring my running journey. Round 2. Are you ready? Let's do it. 10 seconds to get into position. Ready? To kill some bugs. Dead bugs, here we come. Knees up, and let's go. Oh, I've gone for the roll. Oh. That just shows you it's easy to get a little bit uncoordinated with this.
Dead bugs train the deep stabilizing muscles, the transverse abdominis. So you want to keep your spine neutral whilst your arms and legs move independently. That's exactly what happens with every single stride when we're running. Opposite arm and opposite leg extending whilst your trunk stays solid. It's the foundational runner's core exercise. I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but please keep thinking about pressing your lower back into the floor this whole time. If it lifts, slow right down. We shouldn't be able to fit anything underneath your back.
And relax. Who's ready for some glute bridges? I know I am. Oh, we still got 10 seconds. Just gonna chill here. Two, one, up we go. And again, you can stay here if that's enough. Don't push yourself to the next level. If you're wobbling here, shows that you're doing enough. If you want to add that march in, we're just bringing one leg up, nice and slowly marching down.
Glute strength is core strength for runners. Weak glutes mean that your pelvis drops with each stride, which puts stress on your knees, IT band, and your lower back. The bridge activates the glutes and teaches your posterior chain to work as a unit. Adding in that march option, lifting alternating feet, replicates the single leg stance.
Keep pushing those hips up. 2, 1, and down. Bring the knees in for a little hug and the rest if you need to. And we're gonna come onto our other side this time, because the first time around, we hip dipped on that side. Wanna be nice and even. Side planking with hip dip. And again, whatever feels comfortable. If you wanna stack your feet, if you wanna stagger them. Sometimes it's nice to bend the top leg as you come down to hinge a little bit.
Lateral stability is massively underrated in the work that we do. Every time your foot lands, your body is being pushed sideways. Your obliques and your hip abductors resist that. Side planks directly train the lateral stiffness so that energy goes forwards, not side to side. Hip dips adds a challenge without losing that position.
3, 2, 1, and relax. Just loosen those hips off in the gap. Okay. Back into our bird dogs. Here we go.
The bird dog is about anti-rotation, resisting the natural urge to twist as opposite limbs extend. Runners who over-rotate through their torso are wasting energy and often end up with lower back niggles. This one is going to build that stability to stay long and efficient in your upper body whilst your legs do the work. And this one is massively going to help me come race day as someone who has struggled with lower back issues in the past, and my next race, which I promise I'd tell you, is the Saucony London 10K, with the aim just being to hurt myself and go to the well for the first time in a long while. And we're going to be covering the whole race in a video coming out soon, so make sure you're subscribed.
And stop. We're coming back up into our high plank for this next one.
The standard plank is fine, but adding in some dynamic movement with those shoulder taps adds the anti-rotation challenge in a high plank position. That's closer to your actual running posture than a forearm plank, and it also trains shoulder and scapular stability, which links to good arm drive.
And if you feel like you need more stability while you're doing this, if you're kind of rocking all over the place, just widen your hip stance a little bit, and you'll find that that is a lot more stable, slightly easier, and just be conscious of not arching your back. Keep it nice and straight, tuck that pelvis, nice and solid trunk. 3, 2, 1, drop the knees, shake it out. Back in to our favorite exercise, dying turtles. I want to see every single turtle doing this exercise dead by the end of this. Right, starting off on the same side,
right hand pushing into left knee. This is going to build thoracic mobility and control, which links directly to staying tall and efficient in your upper body when your legs are tired late into a race. Make sure you press down that lower and mid back before you start. If you find it's arching, come out of it and reset. It's super important. We don't want to hurt our backs while we're doing this, but it is a bit of a strange one and it's pretty challenging. So just push into that knee. This is actually going to help you. If you lax here, you get less stability and less press through the back. And we're done. And in the same way that we warm up into this, it's nice to do a little cool down afterwards. Yeah, we haven't been thrashing our body out on a run workout, but it's nice to ease back out of it with a little bit of mobility as well. So again, some cat-cows is nice. Just checking whether that's loosened off at all from the exercises. And then sitting back into the most satisfying child's pose. Just rocking from side to side there. See if you can edge your hands a little bit further forwards. And then coming up into a downward facing dog. And this is the best bit. Down into a cobra. Oh, that feels good. If you're like me, your back gets pretty tight, so you kind of need this one. Try and drop the shoulders. Oh. And then back into another child's pose. Such a good combo. And then a really nice one, which you'll often find you're better at post-core. So it's one to try before and after. Drop one leg, hug the knee of the other leg. You're gonna bring it out first, which feels a little bit alien. Your leg doesn't really want to go in that direction. Just opening the hip up a little bit and then bringing it right across. And you want to keep your arm down on the other side and just look over that shoulder. You might even get a little click if you're lucky. This feels so good to do after a core workout. Come back to center and then just swap sides. So hug that left knee in, bringing it out to the left, keeping the shoulder down. Sit with the weirdness, feels a little bit strange, and then hug it back in again. Bring it over to the other side. Oh, with the opposite arm. You might find you're tighter on one side than the other. It's pretty normal. It's just good to be aware of. Bring the knees in, do a couple circles, and then give yourself a pat on the back. And that's it. 12 minutes on the nose, pretty much, with a little bit of safety for the warm up and cool down. Let me know what your favorite core exercise is or which core exercise you love to hate. And until next time, love the grind.